Hello, second graders. We are going to learn about living in rural communities. So, this story is by Kristen Sterling. It says, "Welcome to my community." A community is a place where people feel at home. And while we're reading this, we should kind of look at their surroundings. So, we're focusing on rural community. We see horses and looks like a pail there. I see the mountain, some clear fields, one family. I live in a rural community. I see lots of trees, just a couple buildings. Some people call rural communities the country. It says fresh or farm fresh produce, country hams. Think about where you go to the store to get your produce. There are many things to see in the country. I see lots of plants being grown. Let's take a look around. I see open land. Yeah, like one big house and all the space. Some of the land is used for farming. Think about, do you see farming where you live? I see farmers planting crops. You notice crops is a bolded word. So that means it tells me that it's going to be a vocab word in the story. And on the back, if there is a glossary, it'll give us the definition. I see animals in a barn. You know what kind of animals those are? They're cows. And what do cows make? Milk, you're right. I see people riding horses. I see long, empty roads. I see my neighbor. Neighbor is bolded too, so we'll read that as well. He lives in a house a few miles away. So wait a minute. He said he sees his neighbor, but his neighbor lives a few miles away? Think about how close your neighbor is to you. Is it a few miles away? A few feet away? Right next, underneath you, below you, beside you? The country is quiet and pretty. Do you live in the country? There are different kinds of rural areas. A reservation is a land set aside for Native Americans. A ranch is a large farm of raising horses, sheep, and cattle. Different type of rural area is a village. And a village is a small group of houses in a rural area. Some rural facts. There are rural communities all around the world. In the past, farmers planted crops by hand. It took a long time and was very hard work. Most modern farmers use machines to plant their crops. They are able to have larger farms. Most rural Americans are not farmers. They work in other jobs helping people or making things. Some rural areas have festivals to celebrate their history or a special time of the year. More than 100,000 people went to the Cranberry Festival in Warren, Wisconsin in 2006. In the United States, about 1 in 5 people live in rural communities. Rural areas cover more than 3/4 of the United States. Wow. Good, and there is a glossary, so we can see those bolded words that were back in the story. So a community is a place where people live together and feel at home. The country, an open area outside of towns or cities. Crops, plants the farmer grows and sells. Neighbor, a person who lives near your home. And rural, far from the city, a place with open land and a few people. And that is that book. So think about what you've read with rural communities. Do you live in a rural community? Do you know somebody who does? What's different about where you know someone, what they live in versus where you live?